Hey, friends, and welcome to the Everyday Glow podcast. This is a space where infinite wellness meets everyday life. I am your co-host, Alene, and together with Sangita, we are exploring the honest, human moments that shape how we care for our bodies, minds, and souls. This is not about perfection or checking boxes. This is wellness without finish lines. We're not doing scripts. We are not doing pressure. This is just grounded, uplifting conversations as we walk through the purpose and the inspiration and the real life practice of caring for ourselves in the middle of everyday life. So take a breath and settle in because the journey continues here. So thank you so much, Laura, for joining us today. We appreciate it. You were actually recommended to us by our very first interview, Noelle Formiak, and that's how we found you. So we are super excited to have you on and talk about your experience as a builder, as training your body. Mm-hmm. So tell us about how you got started. What were those first days like?
Sure. So I actually started training in high school. I was a sophomore in high school, and when I was a freshman, I hurt my back, and as part of rehab, the doctors just recommended to me to get stronger. So I was like, all right, I'll take a weight training class, and through school, and I was the only girl in the class, and it was myself and this was in the fall. It was with all the junior and senior football players. And our school at the time was, state champs like multiple years in a row. So these are like guys who have been in the weight room a lot, intense, and that's really where I started in and had my first experiences and was taught the intensity that you need to bring. And they had such passion for, lifting heavy and all of that. So that's where I learned to lift really. And I just remember squatting and hitting a PR and all these guys cheering for me and stuff, and I was like, this is really fun, and kind of get that dopamine hit from it, and it's like I really like this. So I continued to weight train throughout high school, and then in college I played basketball in college, and we had team lifts and all of that, and then after college I continued as well. It was just kind of part of what I did in my lifestyle. So when I moved up here, I joined the gym that my family now owns, Heart to Heart, and was lifting there. It's on the reservation in Hogansburg.
Oh,
so yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, really nice. It's got a basketball court in there now and a track up above the weight section. So lots of things that you can do there. Taught some classes, things like that. And during that time, right after I moved here, I started working with silver models as a fitness model out of New York City. And in talking to some of the girls at the shoot, I was like, how do I get more jobs? And they're like, well, try these fitness competitions. So I'm like, okay. I had no idea what I was getting into. I'd kind of seen it a little bit online. I was like, well, they said to do this. So I hired a coach, and 7 weeks later, I did my first competition in Boston, and I won my pro card. Wow. And then went to the World Championships that summer and got third in the World Championships. And I was like, I kind of like this. I might be good at this. And so that's, how the whole fitness competition thing got started.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So I also love the dopamine hit of reaching a new best. And
yes.
Whatever it is, whether it's lifting or running farther, faster, whatever, I love it. So I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what inspired you to transition from, getting stronger to, I actually want to sculpt and build my own body?
Sure. So I've done a number of different types of programming. I've done CrossFit and, all the different things, just trying things out, and noticed that when I was doing the bikini building that I liked the way my physique was looking, the shape that it was creating the most. And so that's when I really dove into really getting good at that and building that physique, because that's where I felt the best.
How long did it take to you to build that physique?
Well, I started 2007, won my pro card, and I would say I mean, I was pretty successful from the beginning, but then actually after having kids, I kind of had to restart. And so that took me probably, I think I started competing again after the girls. It was a year and a half until I got back on stage with them. I had to wait till I was done nursing, all of that. And then, before I could really start cutting. So I got back on stage about a year and a half after I had them.
Still, that's quick.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, nursing twins is, you burn a lot of calories doing that.
Oh my gosh, and twins. Wow.
Yeah. I have 2 sets of twins.
Wow.
Boys that are 16 and girls that are 13.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you have 4
Yeah.
kids?
I have 4 kids, yeah.
And look how amazing you look.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you're still making time for this, which is incredible.
Yeah.
I am a first-time parent. My son is 7 months old, and I am struggling
Yeah.
to make time for myself.
Yeah.
It's like 80 to 90% of the time I can get a workout in. So.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, and thankfully my husband was really supportive in that he's like, you know what, we can hire a sitter. And I was teaching Pilates classes at the time, to help pay for the sitter. I'm like, I want to do this like myself. So, I would teach classes. I did a little bit of in-person training and coaching at the time, nothing like too much because I didn't want to like throw off the balance of being able to be at home and be present.
Yeah.
But enough that I could get out of the house and, have my own time. And so that schedule worked really well for us.
Wow.
That's amazing.
The supporting partner makes a huge difference.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So, yeah, I probably started that maybe around like the 7-8 month time frame. When, they were starting to eat a little bit more, and
Solid.
and solid foods and things like that. And I could, step away a little bit more.
Usually we female, after having kid, don't think about our body. We are so
Yes.
into kids and trying to make the time for us. And it's just, I'm tired by the end of the day. Like, I don't want to do it. And
Yeah.
still, I am so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. It's amazing.
So with twins, I had to be very scheduled.
Yeah.
And so
It shows the discipline.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, it really does. Especially with nursing, I didn't want to just be constantly nursing all day long. So I was like, no, we eat at these times. For most of the time it worked out. And after the first feeding of the day, I would do some type of workout just to get it done for the day, make sure it was checked off the list. And then I could just kind of go about whatever happened. The rest of the day happened. And I didn't have to think about that, or it got squeezed out and, I never got to it.
Nice.
So
So when you first started, what sort of change or accomplishment were you first hoping for?
with bodybuilding,
Yeah.
I think I was just hoping to find something that I could really connect with and really motivated me to work out hard. And I think it's continued to do that for me, 18 years later. And just being able to change my body both through training and through nutrition. Yeah. So I think it's really finding something that could motivate me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you talked about how your husband was really supportive when you wanted to make these changes and take this on in your life. How did everyone in your life react though? Like
Yeah.
family, everybody.
In the beginning, they were kind of all like, what the hell are you doing? Like, do you know what this is? And I was like, not really, but I'm still going to do it anyway.
Exactly.
Because back in 2007, it definitely wasn't as popular as it is now. It's still growing as a sport, especially with the new divisions that they've added this past year. And a couple of years ago, they added wellness, which has been really popular. But it was very different back then. You had to go buy your heels from a store, and things like that. Pulling my husband in there, and he's like, "What are we doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We're buying shoes. Like, this is what my coach told me to do." And so, and everybody's kind of like, "Are you sure this is something you want to do?" Parents and things like that weren't comfortable, so much with being in a bikini on stage and being judged. And I'm like, this is fine for me. It's not what everyone thinks. Like when you actually go to a show, it's different, I think, than what people assume it's like. So once, I was a couple shows in, my husband was like, this is great. He thinks he's head judge. Whenever he goes, he's like, this girl was not posing correctly. I'm like, oh, this kind of stuff, So he's into it. So, even now, like helping me with things, did you do this today? How's this going? He asked me about it. And
we should have brought your husband too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
So yeah, I got very lucky with him. So yeah, I'm very blessed.
That's wonderful.
Tell him we said hi and we're proud of him.
I will. Thank you. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
People don't support like that.
Yeah.
I've heard stories from some of my clients, and yeah, again, another reason why I feel very blessed.
I always tell my husband, like, if you have a wife who goes to gym and spending money for the gym instead of like random things, then you should be proud because she will get hotter and hotter each day,
Yeah, right?
It's a good investment, right?
It is a good investment.
I always tell him because I want to buy things for gym, and I'm like, I'm investing in gym, I'm investing in myself.
Right.
I'll get hotter as I grow older,
Yeah.
So he won't say anything. Because these things are expensive.
Yes.
Expensive. Okay. I have one question. Bodybuilding is often described as sculpting or engineering the body. How do you approach that process in a positive, sustainable way?
Sure. So I think I don't rush the process. I think we often get in trouble like trying to diet too fast,
Cross
things like
diet,
that.
yeah.
Yes. And so, there's always, in terms of bodybuilding, there's always another show. So giving yourself the time to get there in a more sustainable way, get ready for the shows early so that you can essentially feed into the shows, so you don't experience, and I've done it the wrong way, I've done it the right way with all of this, but so you don't experience like the rebound afterwards, and you're, just kind of gorge yourself afterwards, or binge, I should say, afterwards. When we do it in the way that's the right way, getting ready early, feeding into the show, it's like you don't have cravings afterwards, and you're able to stay on plan a lot more than if we did it the other way. So I think not rushing the process is...
I'm cramping for myself right now.
Learning some tips here.
Yeah. What does manipulating the body mean to you?
I think being able to manipulate the body is so powerful. You can go any direction that you want with it. So I think it's a really powerful thing to be able to do. And I know in supporting my clients, just helping them with the consistency and the confidence that they can do it. And I think once they start seeing the changes and how the body, how what they're doing is accumulating, that they really buy in. And it's like just this powerful feeling knowing that I can take myself whatever direction I want to go.
Exactly.
If I want to grow my shoulders, if I want to become a faster runner, I have the power to do that.
Yeah, the confidence you've built.
I think that's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to control your own self, and whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is, but understanding that we as individuals have that power, I think is phenomenal. And especially as women, because so many times we're put into these boxes and we're told that's where you stay, and this is the person that guides you, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I just think, yes, that's what it's all about. All of fitness, but especially bodybuilding, I think really embraces that.
Yes. Yeah, because with bodybuilding, now I'm not trying to just grow muscle anywhere. Like I'm going in and I have workouts that are specifically anterior delt. I have workouts that are specifically like upper glute only, so it's very targeted. And it's amazing to see how doing that for a period of time and being really consistent with it, you can shape and manipulate whatever it is that you want to do. So yeah, it's powerful.
People say, oh, your body is genetically like that. Do you agree with that?
There is some component to that.
It's not 100%, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, in terms of my frame, I'm very straight up and down. So the way that I'm building my frame is to create more curves. And then even with my waist, even though I'm very straight up and down in my waist, I'm doing LPF, which is low pressure fitness, and vacuuming to work on creating more of a silhouette, or I should say an hourglass silhouette, for my waist in terms of what the bikini, look is wanting. So yeah, there's so many different ways, especially now with like all the different tools and research that we have. There's so much you can do.
Yeah, amazing. How do you balance pushing limits with protecting your long-term health?
Sure. So definitely making sure that I'm listening to my body, prioritizing sleep, like really protecting my sleep, because that's an important thing for recovery, hormones, all of that. When I first started competing, I ended up like just having severe amenorrhea. I didn't have my period for 7 years. And I mean,
Wait,
I was
after
able to,
you compete?
after I competed. So I started competing, and my coach, coaching online was very different then. We didn't have weekly check-ins and like all these apps and tool resources that we can use now. So my coach gave me a plan, and she said, I'll see you at the show. And that was I just did that without
Really?
without questioning. I just followed whatever it was like 10 foods. It was very, bro bodybuilding diet.
And
I
you still
did
did
that.
it?
And I still did it. Yep. I was like, well, this is what she said to do. I'm good at following directions. So this is what I'll do.
Oh my God.
And got to the show. And, afterwards I asked her, what should I do now? She's like, well, you just take a couple days off and then get back on the plan. So I said, well, okay. So I ate the same thing, prepping for shows for the first 2 years that I was competing. And, it just kind of digging myself a hole in terms of hormones. And my doctors at the time were kind of like, it's okay, you're just athletic, you don't have a period, it's fine. When you want to get pregnant, let us know. So, I didn't think anything was really wrong with it. Now I know a lot better as a coach, and adding in like the functional side of coaching as well. That I learned that I started doing that about 5 years ago. And knowing how important hormones are in terms of longevity, and that not having a cycle, which is the 5th vital sign for a female, is a big red flag. I can't remember, I kind of went off on a tangent there, the original question, but in terms of longevity and recovery, I know how important hormones are.
Yeah.
And making sure that for myself and my clients that we're putting in rest days, we're putting in extra tools for recovery and we're testing. And tracking cycles and all the types of things periodically, so that we make sure that everybody's in an optimal spot.
Yeah, I just did my hormones test.
Yes, good.
Yeah, everything is good for me. What are some misconceptions about building muscle, cutting, and bulking?
Sure. So I think some misconceptions about building muscle is that it happens quickly. It does definitely take time. And that in terms of bulking, I really don't like that word, especially in the female space, because it turns people off so much.
Yeah, that's true.
So I say, we're growing, or
muscle,
something like that. We're
muscle,
building,
right?
because we don't need to get like big and bulky like some of the men do. I mean, in the bigger divisions, they definitely have to bulk. But as females, even in the off season, we don't want to be puffy and, have to buy bigger clothes and all that types of things. Right. So I kind of shy away from that word, because we don't really have to go that far. You can be at kind of high maintenance and still build muscle, as long as things like hormones are in a great place and supported, and we're recovering well.
Enough nutrition.
Yes. So I think with bulking, or I should say growing, use that word. I think the misconception is that it happens really fast. With cutting too, I think, the misconception is that it is going to happen also fast. That takes time as well if you're doing it in the right way. And then I think also that it has to be something that's really painful. If you're doing it the right way, like, you should feel satisfied. You shouldn't be hungry all the time. You shouldn't be having all these big side effects from dieting that are going to negatively impact the rest of your life. That, that's another thing that I think really turns people off about the bodybuilding.
We just need to have some patience. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It takes very long time. What role does nutrition play in your training, and how has your approach changed over time?
Sure. So definitely, as I mentioned, it's changed a lot since I first started. Meal plans were the big thing back then. and kind of following
I still
bro
feel
diet.
like it's a big thing. Like if we
yeah.
don't follow, it won't work.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients, including myself now, tracking macros, but it's still very structured.
Yeah.
You know, we want to have a certain amount of protein at each meal. We want to have, you know, carbs pre and post workout and things like that. But now we have more choice in, I feel like, the types of foods we can choose. You know, when I was cutting in the first part of my experience, you know, we couldn't eat fruit, you know, and now it's like fruit is encouraged because of all the micronutrients it has.
Yeah.
So very different, you know, in terms of that aspect. For myself personally, I track macros until probably peak week. And then that's when I go on a very specific meal plan that my coach makes for me. And we go from there. But, you know, I think it's less structured and less hardcore than people assume it is.
You know, this morning what happened, I was talking to my mom. Every morning and every night I talk to my parents. It's like if I don't get called in the night,
Yeah.
it bothers me. I won't be able to sleep. And this morning I was going to gym, and she was like, why don't you take all of your stuff and be in the gym? Because every time I call her on the way to gym, and she's like, all I hear is you're going to gym and that's it, right? And I'm like, what did you have for breakfast? And she said, oatmeal. And like, and she's like, oatmeal?
Yeah.
I'm like, what else? Nothing.
Mhm.
It bothered me. I think I'm so into this. Like, what is your protein? Like,
Oh yeah.
she's like, what? I'm not going to your show or anything. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, still you need protein. And we had a little discussion, and my dad jumped in, and he was. I'm like, you know, you need to have protein. And I started arguing with him. Like, I told my dad, like, Dad, you know. And he's like, whatever your mom gives me, I'll eat. I'm like, add protein.
Yeah.
It was bothering me. I hang up the call.
Oh gosh.
I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm so into it. I couldn't take it. I hung
Yeah.
up.
But it is true. I mean, even those who aren't bodybuilding, we need the protein for
Exactly.
longevity.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I find that, you know, as you get more into this, probably a lot of conversations will turn into nutrition conversations, just because with bodybuilders, I mean, we have to be so on point with things to get our physiques to look a certain way that
Yeah.
the general population wants a piece of that. You know, how do you do this? And really, it's not a mystery or anything like secret or grand. It's consistency with balance and hitting
Exactly.
your numbers.
It bothered me so much this morning. I had to hang up the phone. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, parents.
So, Laura, when you're talking about consistency, what are the habits and the rituals that really impact your success?
Sure. So I think starting from like the bottom level, you know, hydration is a huge one.
Yes.
And I think, but people often skip out on. Sorry, it's my husband calling me. Or I think don't put enough emphasis on, and you know, things like coffee, you know, is not hydrating you.
Right.
So those who drink coffee all day long, I'm like, oh, you gotta switch this. Again, going back to the balance with nutrition, making sure we're getting the vegetables, the protein, the carbs, all of that, not processed foods. And then recovery, I think, you know, prioritizing sleep, rest days, you know, as a juxtaposition to the training, so that we can grow the muscle, because that's where the magic really happens.
True.
Is those rest days.
So, what does a typical training day look like for you? What does training look like, and how does it fit into your entire life?
Sure. So typically I train 5 days a week right now, and I move days kind of depending on what's happening with my schedule and the kids and all of that. So longer training days, you know, I'll put on days where I have a bigger window to train. I do have days where, you know, heavy client check-in days or something like that, where I have a shorter workout I put those on that day. But typically I'm getting up in the morning, I take a little time to I always write out my whole schedule for the day, because the kids' schedule is crazy, especially with basketball right now. I have the 2 boys on varsity basketball, and then I'm the assistant coach for the Messina girls team, and then my daughters are on JV, and then I also coach the girls travel soccer team as well.
Oh
That's where
my
I'm going right after
goodness.
this.
Wow.
So, you know, just writing out all the things that need to happen for that day, what clients are checking in, what Zoom calls I have, et cetera, just so that I don't miss anything. And then I will go and I usually start my day off with some movement. So a little bit of walking, stretching. I practice posing or vacuuming as well. And then get the kids off to school. And then pretty much right away after that, before anything else happens, I go and work out. Again, just I live and die on the thing, like just get it done so that it's finished and out of the way, and I can just be present with everything else for the rest of the day. So typically by like 9:30, I'm done with all my training, and then I dive into all the check-ins and work for the day, and then I'm done with that around 3 o'clock, and it's sports for the rest of the night.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what is a non-negotiable ritual for you? Like, what is this is my number one rule, and I'll do anything to keep this in place?
I think it's the sleep thing. Bedtime is, 9:30 for me.
Oh,
Anything after that, I'm
And what time
pushing
do you
it.
get up?
Well, it kind of depends on what's happening for the day. But 5-6 o'clock is typically when I'm getting up.
I sleep 9 and get up 9:30 or 9 and get up at 7:30.
Oh wow! Oh, I'm
Yeah.
jealous. The
Yeah.
7:30.
I'm like, I can't help it. I have to sleep. I have to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely notice if it's a couple days in a row, especially if I'm not getting enough sleep or my sleep quality isn't there, which I track through my Oura Ring, that I notice it the rest of the day. I'm just not as sharp. And especially as a coach who is guiding other people through these processes, I want to have the right answers for them and, be able to guide them in the right way. And if I'm not feeling great myself, I feel like I can't do, the best job for them that's possible.
That night I don't sleep. Next day, I can't lift the amount like I'm supposed to.
Right?
And it bothers me. I feel like my day is wasted. I'm not gonna do anything. It's just like I ruined everything.
Mhm.
It bothers me so much.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I can't lift.
Yeah, you're getting really like in touch with your body,
Right.
even you can feel it in your lifts. And it's it's protecting your sleep, I think is
Yeah,
really
sleep
important.
is everything for me.
Yeah.
So on those days when you're not your best, when you're not able to get that sleep the night before, your motivation's low, whatever, how do you stay consistent? How do you make sure that you're still working toward your goals?
Sure. So I know that if I haven't slept well, my body is probably in a stress state. And I don't want to add more stress to that. So sometimes I will switch what days I'm working out. It's nice that I only have 5 days right now that I'm, it's a little bit more flexible. So I'll switch to like yoga or something that's going to be more parasympathetic and help to calm the cortisol, calm the inflammation, things like that, and set myself up for having a really good sleep and lift the next day.
Awesome.
I feel like I'm in the right track.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That kind of leads into my next question as well. So mentally preparing for competitions or major milestones, I imagine sleep is part of that, but what else?
Yeah. I think posing practice is huge. Because you can have the best physique, but if you can't present it in the right way, you're not going to be winning.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, for sure. And the biggest thing with posing, I think, is having confidence in your posing. And that's doing it a gazillion times in your basement, and working with your posing coach starting early so that when you do get to stage, you don't have to think about it. It just kind of naturally happens because, you get nervous and like things are a little bit off I've been on so many different stage floors from like thick carpet to thin carpet to like, regular state, like performance stage to like, this last one I did was like a metal floor and we were like sliding because the bodybuilders were on before us with their bare feet and had like, the glaze got on the floor, so they were trying to wipe it up, but it was like so slippery. So
And with the heels and stuff?
with it, yes. So it's, you got to be ready for anything, and having the confidence and just how to hit that pose without thinking about it is super important.
Yeah. Nice.
What surprised you the most about your body responded to training when you started the training?
I think for myself, just how important nutrition was in all of that, because I always train, but my body changes based on what I'm eating, you know, and I used in high school, college, I could eat anything and, you know, go and train and go and, you know, perform and do sports. But this, you know, when you're really focused on aesthetics, like just how important the nutrition aspect is of it, in terms of prepping.
I feel after having kids, you just need more training, better nutrition. It's just the body changes so much. It's hard to bring it back to normal, and the loose skin and all.
It's true.
That's up to you.
It kind of sucks as we get older that we have to be more intentional, and I don't want to say more restricted, but be more focused about the micronutrients and all those types of things versus what we could do when we were younger. But that's how it goes.
It's tough.
Yeah,
but
it's worth it to do. It's worth it.
What's one belief you had about fitness or your body early on that you have completed outgrown?
Yes, this is a good one. So I used to think that in order to get lean, I had to run. Because I was a runner my whole life. My family is big into running. My brother and sister, my mom, you know, ran marathons. She ran a marathon pregnant with my sister.
Oh my gosh.
And then my brother and sister both do Ironman.
Oh, wow.
And my brother now does ultra. So my family is like a big running family. And I used to think, well, I have to do that too, especially in order to stay lean. I need to run as my type of cardio. And in 2020, I switched coaches. So I hired someone new, and he was like, you have to stop running. And I was so scared to stop running. I was like, I'm going to blow up like a balloon. But I didn't, obviously. And actually, my body progressed even more. I think the running was just too stressful. It kind of took away from creating more shape. Because you think about long distance runners, they're thinner, don't have the bubbly muscle like, say, a sprinter or someone who does stairs all the time. So, you know, I definitely saw that, okay, I'm going to be okay without running. And my physique benefited from it. So
my coach does not let me run. I told you, right?
Yeah.
I walk and not even walk. Like, that's it. A slow walk and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It's tough.
It's scary change at first, but it's doable.
It's tough. How has bodybuilding shaped your discipline, confidence, and mindset?
I think it's shaped it a lot. So definitely in terms of body, you know, I feel like I, you know, aesthetically look better even than what I did in high school when I was, you know, playing 4 sports. And I've always been an athlete, but now I feel like I look like the athlete that I am. And I feel really confident about myself, more so even than when I did in high school. So I think it's you know, just catapulted my confidence in terms of being able to speak to people about nutrition, about bodybuilding, and coach as well.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So at what point did you realize that your journey was inspiring others and you wanted to share this with other people?
Sure. So from the beginning, when I won that first show, you know, I had people start asking me, you know, what did you do? Because I want to do that too in terms of losing weight. Not everybody wanted to get on stage, but in terms of losing the weight and kind of, you know, shaping my body. And so from there, it was like, okay, maybe I'm inspiring people, and because they're asking me for advice, you know, so that's when I kind of started like taking on clients and things like that, and educating myself more so that I could help the people that were asking me about it.
Wow, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So what's a piece of advice that you find yourself giving over and over again?
I think the piece of advice that I give over and over again is consistency. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we just need to be as consistent as possible in terms of, you know, trying to hit your marks with macros and, you know, getting to your workouts and things like that. Because if I program things and then the client doesn't do them, then I don't know how to adjust.
Exactly.
Right. So in order for me to do my job, I need you to do your job and just be 90% consistent with it. And then I can make adjustments. But if you're just doing whatever, that I don't know how to, you know,
you're not getting any information.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the thing that I say to my clients most is, all right, let's get back to consistency here.
And if the clients are not honest, like if they say like, I'm doing everything and it's not working, I feel like you would just know.
You can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell. Especially like I have, I use Trainerize now, and you can see in their dashboard, like, are they doing the things? And they connect it with Fitbit and connect it with Apple Watch and My Fitness Pal and all of that kind of stuff. So I can see what's happening on the back end and what data they're entering and all of that. And, sometimes I have to have hard conversations with people like, maybe this isn't the right fit. Do you want to move to a different coach that's not coaching for competition or whatever it might be? Because I'm generally taking those people who are higher level clients ready for, shows, or I have a client now who's doing High Rocks, who's doing another one who's getting ready to run her 10th Boston.
Oh, wow.
These higher level, clients. I'm like, maybe we need to switch to a different coach. Which is hard because I end up becoming like good friends with a lot of my clients. We talk every single week. I talk to some of them more than I talk to my sister, like who was my best friend. But so yeah, it's sometimes a hard conversation, but
if I take a bite of something like even chocolate chip cookie, I let my coach know like this week, this day, or this time I had this because I want her to know so she could better help me,
Yeah, exactly.
I am so honest to my coach that she could tell me what to do next.
Yeah. And honestly, from a coach's perspective, we appreciate that so much. Like, I'm never mad at a client for taking a bite of a cookie or something. Exactly. I'm like, okay, so let's not do that this week. Or if you do need to do that, let's work it into whatever we're planning. Or if it's something that's going to set us back, we have a conversation about, okay, well, how can we prevent this from happening again? I know you mentioned you were an emotional eater, but maybe for some people it is. What can we do differently, etc.
My husband is emotional eater. Like, he needs to have food.
Yeah.
And I'm completely opposite. I don't need food.
Yeah. So everybody's a little bit different. So
very different.
Again, it's going back to like coaches need to learn their client.
True.
So,
and it takes time.
It does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're starting with a more beginner, whether they're beginning to learn competitions or they're like straight up beginning to sculpt their body, how do you support them with the changes and with the expectations?
Sure. I think the accountability of the weekly check-ins is really great, and just access to asking questions there for support. I give clients, my cell phone, and they can text me anytime they have questions or, need help with something. Even like I love hearing the wins too. Like, they'll text me, I did, RDLs with 100 today, and it's like sending back the little high fives. So I think just being there, no matter where they are in the journey, so they always feel like, I'm right there with them, is important.
Awesome.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
What legacy do you hope to have on the fitness community?
Sure. I was thinking about this one. This is a hard one. I just hope to leave that all of this can be, first, that you are in control of of your body, that you are essentially kind of like the CEO of yourself. You decide where you want to go with things. You decide, how much effort you're going to put in and all of that you really have the power to change and improve yourself. And then I hope also that, when people know me personally, that they know that this can be a really fun experience. It's not like hardcore and, something you have to white-knuckle your way through, that it can be something that's really fun and exciting all at the same time.
I love that. So what keeps you grounded when things get tough?
I think my family. I know that like going to the gym and getting up early and doing the walks and like all that kind of stuff, that sometimes it can, especially when I'm close to shows, it can take away from time with my family or just being able to be, well, and I've always said that if I can't be fully present with my kids, I'm going to stop. And, there's days where I'm not feeling my best or whatever. And, they can tell now that they're older too, they can tell. And they express that to me. They're like, you were tired the other day, right? You were a little bit like snippy. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. But just being able to, know that if I'm going to really do this and take some time away from my family, that I need to go all in. And do it 110%. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Yeah.
What
Absolutely.
does your kid tell? Like, does your daughter, like you have two daughters, do they ever want to compete or?
It's funny. One of them said in one of her school projects that she wanted to be a bodybuilder when she got older. But most of all, they just think they like that I have a goal,
Yeah.
and they get excited for me too. And they're like asking about my shows and the competition and what color is your suit and things like that. And how are you going to do your hair this time? You know, those fun things. And they've actually never been to one of my shows. They've watched some of the live streams, and my husband will send me videos, and it's really cute. Like I'll come up on stage and they're cheering, and you know, they're like going through the routine with me because they've seen me do it so many times, you know, practicing. But even the boys, they're like doing all the shoulder stuff and like the posing, and you know, clapping and cheering. So that
Must
I really
motivate
love
you
that.
so much,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay. How do you see yourself training or lifestyle changing in the next few years?
I am getting older, so
You look amazing.
oh, thank you.
really do.
Thank you. So I'm 46, and you know, I don't know that I want to. I love bodybuilding, and there's, you know, I love being on stage and things, but I know there will come a point where, you know, I'm not going to do it anymore, and I could see that coming in the next 4 or 5 years, maybe. I have one more goal that I do want to try to meet, which is qualifying for the Masters Olympia, which I have to win a 40 plus show. I just won my first show pro show this past October. It was a 45 though, so it didn't count. So I've got to win the age group below me. So I do have that goal that I still want to try to work on, but there are some other, you know, athletic endeavors that I would like to do. I've been looking a lot into the high rocks for the last couple of years. Just, it's exciting. I feel like it's really accessible to the general public, more so than CrossFit. And yeah, I think there's some other things that I would like to do. So
Good luck to you.
yeah, thank you.
If you could tell yourself one thing about this journey, what would it be?
I think just to have fun with it.
Thank you guys so much for spending this time with us today. We are so grateful that you are here showing up for yourself in the middle of real life and all of its beautiful chaos and quiet moments, and for choosing us to be part of your everyday glow. Because remember, your glow isn't something that you chase. It is something that you choose and something that you build. It's bit by bit. It's day by day. There are no finish lines. There's no perfect version of you waiting on the other side. It's just this moment, this breath, and this next small step. So if today's check-in sparked something for you, maybe a tiny habit or a shift, we would love to hear about it. Your stories and your questions shape this space. And if you enjoyed today's episode, it is easy to get notified when new ones drop. Just hit subscribe on your favorite listening platform. If you want to put faces to the voices, head over to YouTube and subscribe to Everyday Glow Podcast. And for more inspiration and motivational check-ins between episodes, give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, keep breathing, keep showing up for yourself, and keep choosing your everyday glow.